Arkansas, the natural state. From the Ozarks and Ouachitas to the Delta and Coastal Plain, our nickname is well-deserved. And for more than a century, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has been working to keep the state true to its name.
28.6.
The men and women of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission dedicate themselves daily to conserving the state's most precious natural resources. From managing the habitats that support fish and wildlife and provide public opportunities, to enforcing the state's hunting and fishing regulations, our work is all about passing along a conservation legacy to future generations.
Go get your dog!
After European settlement and the widespread landscape changes that came with it, many species were either wiped out or pushed to the brink of extirpation. But the Game and Fish Commission boasts an impressive history of bringing back numerous species. There was a time when just seeing a deer track was cause for celebration, but now Arkansas hunters annually harvest more than 200,000 whitetails, including some extraordinary bucks. The Game and Fish Commission's mid-20th century work to restore black bears to the state is considered one of the most successful species reintroductions in the world. Land purchases and the construction of lakes have put quality outdoor experiences in reach of everyone, and the Commission's expansive hatchery system helps to maintain robust fish populations. Mandatory hunter and boating education has made the state's woods and waters safer for everyone. Keeping the natural state true to its name requires a concerted effort by nearly 600 employees. Wildlife officers work around the clock to ensure compliance with the state's hunting and fishing laws. Game and fish biologists use the latest science to ensure the long-term sustainability of game animals, as well as hundreds of other non-game species that are vital to maintaining healthy ecosystems. Managing wildlife means managing habitat, and Game and Fish actively manages more than 380,000 acres owned by the agency, in addition to working with conservation partners to help manage another 3 million acres of public land. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission operates 5 fish hatcheries that reinforce natural reproduction on the state's 600,000 acres of lakes and more than 90,000 miles of streams. More than 9.5 million fish were stocked last year, and fisheries managers spend countless hours on Arkansas streams and lakes to monitor fish populations and adapt regulations when necessary.
475.
There are more than 400 boat ramps and more than 75 fishing piers that provide public access to Arkansas waterways. Game and Fish operates 4 nature centers and 4 conservation education centers, which host more than 250,000 visitors each year. And a new education facility is under construction in Springdale. The agency's popular youth shooting sports and archery in the schools programs reach more than 60,000 Arkansas students every year. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission is also working to meet present and future challenges. Since the 2016 detection of chronic wasting disease in the state's deer and elk, Game and Fish has tested thousands of whitetails and established regulations to try to prevent the spread of this insidious disease. The creation of a Research, Evaluation, and Compliance Division, complete with the agency's first wildlife health veterinarian, will help Game and Fish confront CWD and other fish and wildlife issues with the latest science and most effective methods. Feral pigs remain a constant and serious threat to wildlife habitat and native fauna, which is why Game and Fish has devoted almost 65,000 man-hours to remove close to 16,000 feral pigs from the landscape over the past 5 years. The agency's work to bring back the bobwhite quail has resulted in nearly 25,000 acres of quail-focused habitat projects in the past year alone. To maintain the natural state status as one of the continent's most important wintering areas for migratory waterfowl, Game and Fish is working to meet its goals under the North American Waterfowl Management Plan by managing more than 8,000 acres of important moist soil habitat. The agency recently embarked on a plan to conserve the forest and its green tree reservoirs by adapting water management strategies so future generations can enjoy the incredible green timber duck hunting that has made Arkansas famous. One of Game and Fish's newest and most important endeavors is its work to stem the decline in hunting and fishing participation that plagues states across the country. The agency has embarked on an ambitious mentored hunt program to introduce more Arkansans to the joys of the great outdoors and create a new cohort of conservationists who will carry an ethic of stewardship into the future. Conservation comes in many forms. It's getting your hands wet on a cold winter morning to keep tabs on fish populations. It's teaching someone to fish. It's a dedication to service with the knowledge that the work we do today will ensure a better Arkansas for tomorrow.